It's hard to beat the same team twice in a season. I'm sticking with Louisiana.
I don't think either's a bad choice. I think it's gonna be a very close game.
All right. Let's move on now to the MAC. Some action. The Marathon MAC championship game between the 7-5 Miami of Ohio Redhawks and the 8-4 Central Michigan Chippewas. Central Michigan, 6.5-point favorites. What is with the 6.5-point favorites? Like, was Vegas lazy? Just put them all 6.5.
Every game to be a touchdown difference.
This game is being played in Detroit, which will obviously favor poor people. I don't know. I don't like Ben Roethlisberger. I'm taking Central Michigan. Is that not a good reason?
Yeah. It's fine. It's a fine reason.
In the Ben Roethlisberger versus Antonio Brown debate, I was Team Antonio Brown. So that's the reason I'm taking Central Michigan.
Central Michigan all day.
I think that Miami's QB just got some award for the MAC. He was named the player of the year or something, which is pretty impressive. Freshman quarterback.
But his stats are kind of shit though. Neither of them are good. 153 of 227, 1,916 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That doesn't sound like player of the year to me. On the other side, though, you've got Brett Gabbert, who I can only assume is related to Blaine.
Probably.
Can only assume.
Little second cousins.
Got to be his little brother or something.
From the trailer
10
park.
touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 139 completions, 1,967 yards. What the fuck?
They live in the same trailer park.
What the fuck is with these less than 2,000 yard quarterbacks?
Yeah, very strange. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with Central Michigan. Miami's been struggling. Central Michigan seems to, be on somewhat of a roll. And they just have been the better team throughout the year. So yeah, Central Michigan.
Yeah, I think we all took Central Michigan. I think outside of the last game, we've all agreed on all of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
UAB versus FAU. Both teams 9-3 in the Conference USA Championship. This game is taking place in Boca Raton, but don't be confused. This is not the Cherry Boondy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
Not yet. Anyway.
This is just the Conference USA Championship.
Yeah.
All right. FAU is a 7.5-point favorite. I just want to reiterate, and I'm sure Tony is going to agree with me, how fucking awesome it is.
Devin Singletary.
Well, yeah, Devin Singletary, but no, how fucking awesome it is what UAB went through to where they are now. Just 2 years removed from not even being a football team, to go to back-to-back bowls when they've never in the history of the program gone to back-to-back bowls before.
It's all about moving forward.
That just, warms my little heart. Warms my little heart. Baby. As Adam Cole comes out. Anyways. As warm as my heart is, I'm going FAU. Tony, yes, we're going to pitch that to ESPN. Tony, with the fucking comment of the night, truth of the night. UAB needs a 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, make it happen.
Crazy. That whole story is just fucked up. fucking people mishandling funds and a football team getting cut because some new dick comes in and wants to reduce costs, and people don't care about football in Alabama, right? Like, no schools in Alabama are big in football, right? Right. Roll Tide. Roll Tide is like the greatest. Roll Tide is the greatest mating call of all time. The only problem is it only attracts your first cousins.
Low Tide now. Tide.
Or, I mean, depends on where you are. If you're in Alabama, maybe its best thing about it is it attracts your first cousins. All right. So, did you pick yet?
I'm going FAU on this.
Did we all go FAU?
Owls.
Jesus Christ.
FAU is going to get the one final win for Joey Freshwater, and he's going to take the job at Arkansas.
Who?
And then he's going to become the first assistant to beat Saban. Is the hot take I was reading off of Reddit today, and I loved it.
Listen. Okay. All right. There's no fucking chance in hell Arkansas is going to beat Alabama in the next 40 years.
No, not a chance. But it was a very fun hot take. But I still believe FAU wins, and maybe Joey takes that job, maybe not. But yeah, FAU's gonna beat UAB. I think it'll be close. I think UAB's game plan is gonna be to run some more, and play defense. So it'll be a low scoring game. But I think FAU will ultimately win out.
I mean, I kind of agree with that, but I feel like if they had their way, that's how it would happen. I feel like FAU is going to open the game up. Their quarterback's not bad. He's got 3,100 passing yards, 22 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Not killer in the touchdown number that I would look for, but I feel like he's going to spread the game and break it wide open, and then they're going to inevitably have to get into a shootout.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna run as much as they can until they can't, and that so the first half is gonna be, I think, pretty tight, and then by the second half, I think you'll see FAU start to really open things up.
Mm-hmm. I just want to point out, Dan Beebe, Keith Lee is entering the ring. Are you basking in his glory?
Who's that?
What? The guy who is facing the entire Undisputed Era all by himself right now.
Never heard of him.
What?
Nope. Sorry.
Anyways, back to football. Another intriguing game. Cincinnati-Memphis for the Conference USA. I'm sorry. Why did I say Conference USA? Fuck that. It's the American Athletic Conference. I know they're not Conference USA. Memphis used to be. Cincinnati got robbed, being taken from the Big East and put in the American Athletic. They were demoted. Games being played in Memphis. It's the first time in 3 years that Central Florida is not in this game. It's also the third time in 3 years that Memphis is in this game. All right. 17 Memphis at 11-1. 20 Cincinnati at 10-2. Cincinnati's 2 losses. Who knows who Cincinnati's lost to? Who can answer that question?
I'm going to cheat and look it up.
Don't do that. Guess. They've got 2 losses on the season.
Notre Dame? Oh.
Nope, not Notre Dame.
30 seconds later.
All right, time's up. Week 2, they lost to Ohio State.
I was going to say Ohio State, and I was like, wait, did they play them? I couldn't remember because it was back in week 2.
42-0. And then last week, Cincinnati lost to Memphis. And now they play Memphis again this week.
Damn, that's not good.
No, not good for them.
What was the final score of last week's game?
34-24 Memphis. So, boys, of course you know one, Tony.
Same team twice.
It's tough to beat the same team twice, especially in back-to-back weeks. Who you got? Memphis, Cincinnati.
This one I'm gonna go with Memphis. I've liked them all year. They're not quite up to the Ohio State level, obviously, but they're good. And yeah, they lost to Cincy, but I think they can turn it around and win.
I have 2 words for you that'll be the reason why the team I'm picking is going to win. And that is Kenny Gainwell. Dude's a fucking freak. All right. His numbers don't reflect how good he really is. 204 carries. All right. 1,381 yards. 12 touchdowns. All right.
Yeah, that's a nice resume.
Dude's a freshman. This is his first year playing college football.
And potentially only.
Not really. If this were college basketball, yeah, but no, he is awesome. And then let's get to the quarterback play. All right, you've got Ritter, who, don't get me wrong, he's not a horrible quarterback. 17 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. It's that 2-to-1 ratio. I'm okay with that. I prefer 3-to-1 ratio, but 2-to-1 is just fine. 1,836 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. On the other side, you got White, who's got 3,307 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's night and day. Memphis is the better team. All right, and they've got better uniforms.
That's true.
Definitely.
When they do that blue and the gray with the fucking gray helmets with the blue tiger claws, it's sick.
Yep.
Fucking sick. So good.
Silver highlight.
It's awesome. Anyways, yeah, so I'm picking Memphis to beat Cincinnati. What about you guys? Memphis. The land of Lawler. Dan and Tony. We got.
I already said Memphis. That was the first one.
All right, you got Memphis. All right, Mr. Hipster. I picked him before.
I was Memphis before you even heard of them.
All right, and now we're just waiting on Tony. He picks Memphis. Jesus, fuck, guys. Can't you pick different fucking games or different teams?
Maybe.
Do we even need to talk about this next game, LSU, Georgia?
No, LSU.
LSU?
Yep.
Dan O'Shea, do you agree? LSU?
Yeah.
Tony, do you agree? LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Tony says Memphis, they have cool helmets. Yes, they do.
They do.
All right. Just waiting. LSU by a lot is what Tony said.
I hope so.
I agree. I think it's going to be like a 30-point game. I think you're looking at
36-3.
51-21. Something like that. Hawaii, Boise State. Boise State's 14-point favorite. Mountain West Championship. Boise State is going to waste them. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cole McDonald, I like him. 3,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's fucking awesome. I'll take that every season. On the other hand, Boise State, clearly they don't give a shit about passing the ball. Their quarterback's got 1,700 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. All right. Tony says Boise State easy. I don't think it's going to be as easy as Tony does. He's probably thinking it's going to be like 21 or something like that. I'd say give me Boise State by 10. Dan and Dan. Boise State.
Like probably 14.
Dan O'Shea. How are you?
Yeah, it's